Roman Reigns and Jay go out and literally display Shakespeare, you know, Phantom of the Opera, Romeo and Juliet. It was beautiful. It really was. It wasn't anything at a fast pace or anything like that. And I wondered about that match being the first match out.
Right. Were you surprised that they were the first match? Because I was.
Well, I was surprised for a second. And then once I started watching the match, I got more and more invested in seeing why they put that match out there first. Just because it was an I Quit match.
Right.
I Quit match is not one of those matches where you can go out there and, you know, go spot for spot or anything like that. It has a good steak. After you tenderize it, you want it to marinate. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we had in that match more than anything, man. I mean, it was tenderized perfectly, and then it was marinated for the perfect time before it all came down, and we sat down and cut into it and just, oh my God, this is good. You know, so that's what I appreciated about the Roman and Jay match more than anything, man. And we were actually talking in the locker room, me and R-Truth and a few more of the guys, Bobby Lashley, a few more of the other guys, talking about should that match have gone out first. And R-Truth like, you know, Book, you're a promoter, but what you think? So I was like, you know, after watching it for a second, I thought the first match was definitely a good place for it. In hindsight's 2020. I don't know if I would have thought about that before the match. If I was actually in the war room going over it, I don't know if I would have thought, you know, shit, that match go first. But then again, after I think about things and look at the lineup of the card and know that you want to have this thing to be a stagger. You know what I mean? You don't want the show to go like this and go like this. You want it to go like this, and then you want it to descend a little bit high. Then you want to get a little bit high, and then you take off like the rocket, man. Like the main event is really supposed to be. It's really supposed to bring you a certain feeling. And I think now, hindsight 2020, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, you know, that was the match that should have been in that spot. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. And we obviously we got to get to the main event. But the thing with this match that impressed me is at first, when you tell me it's a Hell in a Cell match and then you add on the I Quit stipulation, I was suspect of that. More so than them starting off first. I was like, how are you going to do an I Quit match in a Hell in a Cell? You know what I mean? Those are two completely different matches. You know, they don't really have to do with one another. And I was wrong. They figured out the perfect way to do it because Roman, in the intensity that he turned up to 11 in there with Jay, I still thought, okay, even when they put him in that front guillotine choke, I said, okay, is Jay just going to pass out? And that's, you know, how he quits because he passes out. But then no, the referee keeps it going. Referee keeps it going. Referee keeps it going. Do you quit?
The referee go, come on, you got to say it.
You got to say it.
Like,
and Jay is like this.
I'm like, he's asleep. When have you ever said anything in your sleep unless you sleepwalking, sleep talking?
You know, I thought the same thing. I was like, why is he talking to a guy who's asleep? He's passed out. But then when all the personnel comes running into the cage to separate Roman and Jay, and then Jimmy comes in and Jimmy covers him. He's like, man, you don't got to do this. This is Josh, man. This is Josh. They're having that real moment. They're breaking the fourth wall. We're using the real names, right? And then Roman sits there, and when he starts to weep, like you could see real tears coming out of his eyes, right? And that's when I was like, wow, this guy has gone to the next plateau, the upper echelon, as far as being able to perform inside that 20 by 20. Because the Roman Reigns, even a year ago, I don't know if he could have pulled off what he pulled off in that match with Jey Uso. That real emotion that he brought, this great storyline, and then almost apologetic to Jimmy, saying, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who I am anymore. And then as soon as Jimmy lets his guard down, boom, he gets him in the choke too, chokes him out. And then Jay finally has to say, I quit to save his brother, which was the perfect ending. And then to put the cherry on top of it, you had the Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika, at the top of the ramp, ready to coronate Roman Reigns with the tribal chief garb or the lei that they put over his neck. I mean, they could have done it better. They couldn't have done it better.
Yeah. Nah, man. I thought it was great storytelling. Definitely got to your heart. It pulled on those strings and made you go, wow, man, this is pretty good. It actually had a feel of what wrestling, the way I always watched it and love watching it. It made me feel that way. It really did. And I was like, wow, man, this is old school. This is throwback. As far as being able to go out there, like I was talking to these kids, like I say, from Ireland just last week, about what you do before and what you do after everything that was going on. It was always what happened before and what happened after what Roman said before or what Roman said after. You know what I mean? And not just what he said, how he said it. It was very, very calm. It was very, very real. It wasn't anything over the top or anything like that. It made you feel like this story, is this real or not? I don't know. And that's what wrestling has always been, man. It's always been the great ones, has always been able to make you go out and feel that, man, I don't know about this match right here, man, opposed to so many of the matches on the card. That one match make you go, man, that looked real. Man, that made you, and you're talking about it on your way home. He said, Jay, I wish Jay would have won, man. You know, because my thing was, talking about it on the kickoff show, I said, man, a lot of you guys looking at it from a perspective totally different from what I'm looking at it from, being the little brother, being the little cousin, always, taking the hand-me-downs, always, in the background in the shots, always, having to, pay homage, to Roman, probably even as kids, and finally saying, man, Jay, I'm not little cousin anymore. You know what I mean? I'm Jay, I'm Oos. You know what I mean? I'm just like you. We're no different. And when you finally get to that point, you want to, you want some respect more than anything, because, I remember, going through that with my brother, honestly, and saying, man, I'm not just your little brother anymore. I'm Booker T. I need that respect, and I'm sure that's where Jay was going from a field perspective and making the audience really, really come into the arena as far as that thing, because I really felt like the people that watched that match, they definitely got invested in the two characters that was portraying two people that despised, disliked, but loved each other at the same time.
Yeah, it was beautiful poetry. It really was. It was beautiful poetry. Roman Reigns, he was crying because he knew what he had to do. He said, this is on me. What am I going to do for my kids, right? For my family. I'm at the head of the table now. I don't know if this story was planned in advance when Roman came back. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, from what I was just reading was it got so hot with Jay that they had to ixnay what they were doing with the Fiend.
It made sense. It makes sense to me because look, we talked about it before. When it's marketed right, you'll buy it, but when it's real, you'll feel it. And this you feel this. And you almost went through this sympathetic nature with Roman, knowing, I know that you don't want to do this, you have to do this. And he had this conflict of conscience when he's crying. And then the coronation, really, with Alpha and Sika. And by the way, quarantine did Roman well. The guy's looking jacked. He's looking jacked out of his mind, right?
Yeah, he's looking real good.
And then even this was also a great moment. Heyman against the cell. Heyman's putting his head up against the cell, watching it all happen. That man's a meme machine. Everything that he does is a meme. I mean, bravo to those guys. Bravo to those guys. And we'll talk. Obviously, we got to go to break, but all the cell matches I was really impressed with. But yeah, definitely bravo to
No. I mean, Roman definitely went out and did. Jay, Jimmy, all congratulations to going out there and really pulling it off, showing what the business truly really is. And, you know, it just lets me know, man, that these guys did not fall too far from the tree. That's all it is, man. It's in the DNA. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.